And happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into the Creators Lounge. Monday night, you guys know, one of my favorite nights of the week. So tonight we're going to talk with a guest that most of you guys are going to know. Most of you guys know this guest very well. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm interested in, this is something that me and the mayor kind of talked about before I changed channels. He was going to come on and hang out one night, and then, channels changed, and but we got a schedule now, so I'm excited. I need to fix Nightbot. We're not doing channel reviews tonight, so you guys can ignore that. But I'm excited to have the mayor on tonight. So everybody that's in here, thank you guys so much. Of course, we have Mrs. Coach. There she is, my favorite coach, my favorite person in the world. We got Ellie. What's up, Ellie? E-Rock. Bearded Vato. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Jason Klein just made it. Yes, sir. And I did see your DM you sent me right before. I'll make sure I reach back out to you, man. What's up, Dan B? Good to see you, sir. Let's see who else. I'm going to fix Nightbot here in just a second. So again, ignore the channel reviews. We're not doing those tonight. So hey, let's not waste any more time. I'm excited to host the mayor tonight. Now, the mayor is somebody who you guys know through Dan C. Bearded's YouTube channel. They do a Beard Advice Live every Wednesday. And the mayor has been involved pretty much with Dan C's channel going all the way back, the Facebook group, which we'll talk about, all that good stuff. So without any further ado, let's welcome in the mayor. How you doing, sir?
Doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's an honor to have you on. Like most people here, I've been watching your videos and the Wednesday night thing and everything with Dan for the last couple of years. So I'm glad to have you on to have a conversation tonight.
I cannot wait for it. I was doing my pregame, which is those that know me, like a little quick bath, and then I was thinking in my head, what do I talk about? And you asked me about my story, and and my parents always told me. My parents used to live in Kentucky. I was actually in Louisville. I was actually created in Kentucky. My parents said, and I don't know any more about that moment or that time, but when
That's
they lived back there. So I got some roots.
that's awesome. I had no idea. So you were born in Louisville?
No, I was just made in Louisville. I was born in New
Okay.
York. Yeah,
Okay.
my dad was an engineer moving around in the 70s, and my older brother Minnesota, me New York, my younger brother New York too, and then we ended up in Michigan. But I got some Kentucky roots.
That's awesome. Hey, what's up, Brian? And everybody else has come in. What's up, Gary? So that's a cool bit of news that I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they loved it. They loved living down there. They stay close to us here in Michigan because we got the grandkids, and they're pretty much the deal. That's what grandparents are all about, which I kind of get now as a parent. People say it all the time, but that is the job. You roll in, give them presents, get some hugs, hang out, then you go home and you go to bed or do whatever you want.
Right. I'm gonna disable these Nightbot chats real quick. Sorry. One thing that I forgot to do before the stream, but hey, everything else is working. So all right, we should be good now. So Brian says the beard has come a long way, Mr. Mayor. The perfect straight beard. Yeah, you've been now. You've always obviously for the past couple of years you've had a beard, but you've been participating in No Shave November by not even trimming, right?
Yeah, no touching that. Look at that. It's like a caterpillar up there. I don't know if it's as good as Dan's, but it did widen out. I'm kind of seeing that now. Maybe I'm a little closer than Dan doesn't let me get too close to the camera, so I'm getting
Right.
a it's kind of a good look. I like it.
So I guess the question is, if you know yet, come December 1st, what's your plan?
Um, Probably some. I got some crazy guys, a little shape right here. These guys are running wild. They're having like a big old festival of me not messing with them, and there's some little areas there. But I don't know that I go back to as short as it was because we always talk on the Beard Advice show about how sometimes going past where you want to be and then cutting back in, trimming back into it is really where it's at. And that's kind of why I was like, yeah, let's not touch it for, let's push it a little farther than we have. And, see kind of how it ends up looking. And the truth is, hey, Mark, the truth is that I kind of like it. And you never know in your own head, you have this own image of what you are. I saw this school picture from 2 years ago today, just found it in a drawer. And that was like when I had first started. It was like right after the first summer I grew a beard with Dan, like once a week doing that, like how to grow a beard live stream. And man, did I think I had a beard, and I thought it was so different. And I look at that guy, and it was just scruff. It was nothing. It was, that it was nothing compared to now. So
Yeah, I mean, we've all been there, right? We started growing a beard at one point. We're like, yeah, look at my beard. And then you figure out along the way that, there's something not right or whatever, you don't know. And that's how I found Dan's channel. That's how I found, Dan. And yeah, along the way, things get better and things look better and you learn more. And that's what you're helping people now with. We're going to come to that for sure.
sure.
What's up, Patrick? Good to see you in here. Everyday Tech. Good to see you, sir. And Mark and everybody else that's come in. All right, Steve. So, Mayor, let's go back back before content creation, before you knew Dan, before anything. Tell us about yourself. Tell us who the Mayor is.
So I was going to start with that Kentucky thing, but I kind of blew that already. So, I was pretty much born in New York, but raised in Michigan. I have, lived at, my parents are still in the house I grew up in, which is cool. It's about 10 minutes from here. They are both healthy. My dad was kind of quiet engineer guy. My mom was at home with the three boys. I'm the middle, and they're really smart. Like, my oldest brother is a physicist, and my younger brother has a history degree, and he actually has a company where he makes Civil War clothes, like reenactment uniforms, like $400, jackets and stuff like that. Like,
Oh,
he
wow.
custom sews it, and he's never worked for anybody in his life, and he's his own kind of genius. And then there was me, and being the middle one, having the older brother, I kind of, like, he was super bright, and I, unfortunately for myself, for a while tried to go like the opposite direction and be like the fun guy, and that didn't work out too well when I realized in high school I was closing doors and stuff. And so, I got a little serious about school and went to Western out of high school, Western Michigan, got my teaching degree. I thought I was going to do business, but then I switched to teaching, and who knows, maybe I'll end up in business again at some point, kind of, in a way, with all
Right.
this stuff. It's funny how that works. But went to college, met my wife, but we didn't date because we were both with other people at the time. But we were friends. We stayed in touch, and one thing led to another, and I reached out to her after our relationship kind of fell apart, and of course she was just super excited to hear from me. Now, I mean, she was, but I don't assume that.
Right.
But she started as a friend, and then we got married in 2005, and that's been a lot of years. It's 2021, so that's been a lot of years already. She's a high school counselor. She's been a music teacher. She's been an elementary teacher. Done a lot of jobs. I really admire her, and she's kind of I'm like the fun. Dad usually gets to be the fun one. I can be silly and fun. But she's kind of like the more, rule enforcer. Oh, we got to pay the bill, or, oh, kids have to eat a meal. It's important kind of person.
Right.
Whereas I'd be like, hey, they're not saying anything. I mean, they're gonna pass out from 19 hours a fortnight, but no, we cut the limit at 15 usually. I'm just kidding, a couple hours maybe.
Right. Right.
So I teach 8th grade science. It's my 20th year. Yeah, 20th school year of doing that. I started when I was 22, so I'm 42 now. And I got, basically that, I don't know, that brings me to the day that, like, 12 years ago, that the new teacher, Mr. Command, was there, and he was kind of, making waves already in my life, even though he didn't really realize it, because he had always such a good connection with the kids. And I was like, I was curious how he was doing that. He was, but I know that's a question down the road. I won't get into that yet.
Yeah, no worries. I definitely am curious about year one teacher Dan we've all seen the picture. His first year of teaching, he had like a short beard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Mark
Real
wants to know
short.
what part of New York.
So I was born in Cortland, but we lived in a town called Groton, and that was only like 6 years of my life. I barely remember like images of like church and a few things, but it was just bits and pieces.
Right. Yeah, and then you left New York. How old were you roughly when you moved from New
I
York?
think I was I think it was like 7 years old. It was like 86, I think, because I think the Mets won the pennant, and I was a Mets fan. That was the Daryl Strawberry, Dwight Gooden year. I think when and I was a big fan, so I kind of like that's where I start remembering things. I never went to see the Mets play. We weren't even close to the city really, but yeah, my
Right.
first MLB game was the Tigers.
Gotcha. Okay. Russ wants to know if it's snowing up there yet.
It is. It's not really accumulating much. We had snow on the roof all day today, though, so the roof's cooled off. Ground is cooling off. I just keep telling my son to put his bike away because it's gonna, what's gonna happen. It's gonna blow away. But it's flirting with real snow. I run a ski club for our school, so I'm not in a big hurry for it because when the hill we have a ski hill like maybe 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away. And when it really starts getting cold, then they start making snow. And my Thursdays go to being at the ski resort, running the ski club, so my sons can have season passes.
Oh, okay. So you teach. What is your main subject in school that you teach?
Science.
Science.
So in eighth grade, it's general. Like right now, we're doing natural selection. We'll do some like Earth's history kind of things, but it's still not super Specific.
So you ski like a champ, Gary says.
I no. My wife is way better than me. Betsy is she's a great skier. Everybody in my family is faster than me. I'm just there for fun. I didn't get into it, I don't know, early enough or whatever. But I'm a cruiser. I like to cruise. So like I'm not going black diamonds, but I'll do blues all day. And I don't know. I just not I some of those really tough hills, I just don't enjoy it. And at some point in your life, you're like, it's kind of like eating really hot stuff. At some
Right.
point, like, all right, enough. All right, let's be honest with who we are and what we want to do. And so I let them go do the black diamonds, and I will take my own way down.
Yeah, I've made the joke before that as far as hot foods go, my tolerance is like honey barbecue. So I see you guys eat the hot stuff, and you guys have fun with that. I know my limits.
Dan likes them more than me. We started out like with feats of manhood when we were doing Majorly Bearded before Bearded Advice Live was whatever it's called now, and we would get guys sending in like ghost pepper married this pepper, and then they had a baby and it was a Carolina Reaper, and then they would wrap it in more it felt like it was just getting insane. And finally we kind of ran out of painful pepper type things to try, but it was it was an experience. And I one of my biggest reasons for this whole that I'm sitting here is the adventure, and it has been an adventure. I love that. I think that we as adults, we give up that adventure. We maybe you might go to a book or a movie, but there's nothing like the real thing.
Right. Right. And so doing the content creation now and getting to do stuff like this, let's kind of dial into that a little bit. So,
Sure.
so we know you and Dan met when you were already teaching. He came in as a new teacher. So how did that go first? We all know kind of Dan's that hard charging guy. And you said
Yeah,
it
yeah.
backstage before we went live. I mean, 135% on everything. So what was it like
Yep.
meeting Dan, and how did you guys really get to know each other?
Well, at first, my first impression was Dan was like, "There's no way this guy is kind of hitting it at all these angles." Because it was all in teaching. Like, let's say you have a food drive. I remember the food drive with Dan. I don't know if I've ever talked to him about this, but like, I always won. Like nobody. They wouldn't even try because I would raise like four. My kids. I get them fired up. They'd bring in. Well, then Dan comes in, and destroys me. Like, you know, I got my head spinning. I was like kind of like my Spartans were against Ohio State this past weekend.
Right.
And I'm like, who is this guy and how's he doing it? And how's he getting these kids so devoted to him? And so that was my first impression. It was kind of jealousy and a little bit of awe and respect in a way too. So that was that continued through like the first 5-6 years of teaching with him. And then we kind of got to know each other a little better through Pokemon Go of all things. So we started like he saw me playing it during a staff meeting, I think once on my phone. He's like, "Hey, did you get the?" And then it was just like that. And our other friend Todd, we would go out, and instead of going out to the bars, we would go out and drive to like Ann Arbor and walk walk through and catch Pokemon and goof around and talk about the people we worked with in a way. And we all had stories that none of us had known. And so it was like a real adult friendship that wasn't based on like going out to the bar or whatever. And, both of us having, Dan just new dad, and me being, having one that was very young. It was good because you need to be able to wake up in the morning and not have a hangover or be grumpy. You want to get the most out of your day. So going out and doing stuff like that was reasonable. But then one day he decided he was gonna, he said, you know what, I think I'm gonna do this beard channel thing.
Yeah, so there's a question here, guys. If you have questions for the mayor, do me a favor, throw your question out there. If you will put a Q colon in front of it, it'll make it easier for me to find it. If you don't do that, that's completely okay. I'll still find it, but we will come to those questions for sure. So Russ Young wants to know if snowmobiling is fun for you.
Oh, it's I've only if I've done it once, I was just a rider, but how could it not be fun? I would love to. My wife, tends to think it's a little dangerous. You come across a barbed wire fence the wrong time, and it could be bad. But man, it looks amazingly fun. It's like jet skiing. We have my wife's family has a place on a lake, and we don't have a jet ski, but we have a jet boat. Just again for the same kind of principle of smaller craft, but snowmobiling, it looks so much fun, and I've ridden in my past, but never been able to like drive one on my own.
Yeah.
Would love to.
What's up, John? And going back to Dan, yeah, sounds like Dan Mamba. Yeah, Mamba mentality for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I think that's about right.
Yeah, Mark says you could have been a huge Bills fan.
I may still be, because the team we have here is, I got like many years of the same story over and over again. Find a way to give up the game, Lions. I don't know, but I still love them, and my son loves them too.
It's that kind of year, isn't it? Somebody made a joke, last year last week the tie with the Steelers. I heard a guy that I work with is a Lions fan, and he's like, man, we can't even finish a completely winless season the right way. We have to at least tie.
Right. Can't get that. My son Owen is my oldest son, and this is not true, but my father-in-law thought that I named him Owen because it was their 0-16 season. But no, it was just a coincidence. I'm not gonna do that to him.
So let's transition. So for those that don't know the mayor, I think most everybody in here does, but the mayor is a content creator. And of course for this channel, that's the purpose of this channel is to help people, in this case, in the case of these streams, to help inspire people to see the different ways they could become a content creator or to get over that fear of creating content or whatever the case may be. That's what my purpose for these shows is. So we'll start with a question from Gary, and then we'll kind of get into that because I like the question. It says, how does the mayor feel about his transition from a newbie to a respected content creator?
Well, first of all, if I'm a respected content creator, then thank you. That's truly like a flattering thing to hear. I will accept that and say thank you. How do I feel about that change? Good. I had never had a beard, and here I am getting involved in beard stuff. So I took a lot, and I'm still in a lot of ways warming up where I'm comfortable going into lives, and just lately I've been really enjoying all sorts of different lives from the beard community. I feel honored. I love that I like maybe with the heated brushes and stuff like that kind of little niche I've kind of created that I can help people out. It feels good. And then, I still have a fresh perspective from that. I didn't have facial hair at all. I completely kind of, how you have a vision of who you are or what you're going to, I come kind of threw that out when I stepped into this, and that has kind of empowered me to look at it from brand new. Like my first shows with Dan, when actually the first first was terrible. And then I started asking questions to him. I could jump the chat because I was right there next to him, and I started learning. And and that just kind of became a habit, and it still is a habit. But I've taken what I've learned from him and what I've done with my Facebook group. We have a sponsor each week, so each month, so I do a 2 or 3 feature videos of products, things like that. I have learned a ton from that. It is not easy putting a video together sometimes, even as low key, not the YouTube polish, because I feel like we have levels of videos, and so the Facebook one's a little bit more casual. But
Right.
I'm just learning, loving all the, just I'm flattered beyond belief that people uh, are listen would take my advice on something or listen to what I had to say. It's flattering. It's kind of a responsibility in a way, and I get that too. And I have found, this adventure, like I was talking earlier, I found a lot more of myself than I realized was even there. I kind of had pushed it down in the dad role, and I was going to be in school and teaching and try to be a principal someday. And that was my road. And I kind of took that exit and to this whole, like this. So I love it. I love it. It feels wonderful.
On the beard, so Ryan wants to know, any thoughts on growing the beard out or keeping it business?
I kind of I can do anything I want. I'm kind of the business. I'm the short beard guy. I'll tell you right now, even just in this little bit of length that I've gotten through this November, no trim, there's levels that I have not even danced on at all. I know you can see the guys with the big beards, but there's some things like when your beard blows in the breeze, when you can get it caught in more things for sure, and all, just more time that it takes when you have more like actual hair, of course. There are things that I don't know, but I think I would definitely, there's Mrs. Wamba. Yeah. But
Yeah.
there are definitely some things that I could, I would never say never. I've stopped doing that. Because it makes me look stupid every time if I try to decide what I think is going to happen in the future.
Right. It's funny so there's a few comments here from that. First of all, it's funny what plans we think we have, and then, along the way things change and we do different things. And I've always learned to never say never and never think that you have arrived at what you're going to be doing forever, because that's usually not the case.
Yeah. No, I have some human, I have a strong faith, but whatever you do in life, being humble, and being willing to listen as much as you talk, will take you places.
So here's a great question, and this was I wanted to get to this question, and this seems like a perfect time to do it. So, are you really the mayor of, and I'd probably say this wrong, but I say Grand Blanc. I don't know how you actually say it.
You got to do the nasal Midwest Grand Blanc, like a blank, shoot a blank. I don't know. And I used to make fun of it because I didn't live in Grand Blanc. I lived in a closer like area, and all the Grand Blanc kids were the ones, like, they always had the nicest gear when we play them soccer. I was a little jealous of the community, but so we would always say like the big nothing, because Grand Blanc, it's kind of like big white or whatever.
Right.
But that's another story. Those are the old days. I forget what I was going to, did I have a question or just,
yeah, it was,
Grand Blanc.
Yeah. Are you the mayor of Grand Blanc?
Oh, no, not a mayor of Grand Blanc. I was thinking, people always ask where the mayor come from. It was from those Pokemon Go things. But really, I think there's, maybe Dan, I don't know. We never talked about it, but sometimes I talk kind of fancy. I use like $3 words and $5 words once in a while. And I take baths, which is weird, but it just kind of vibes with me. So I would say that it's just kind of like Dan and our friend Todd just kind of started calling me the mayor. I don't know. It's just kind of my persona in a way. But that's a lot.
And there he is. He should be the official mayor.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd have time for it. Honestly, you look at those jobs right now with everything the last couple of years, and you're like, I'm glad we have people doing that, because I don't know if I'd be sleeping at night.
Right. I mean, I never talk the political arena, but I would never want to be in that sort of a seat. I don't think I would ever want to be a mayor or any other form of a politician. So that wouldn't be for me.
so many things in life. You see the power, you look up to that position, but there's a whole lot. There's so much you don't see that you got to be right for. You can't just go after the position.
Right. Yep. All right. So that's where the name Mayor came from. So it just kind of happened. Just
It just kind of, yeah, they
just kind of
started calling
happened.
me, but I do. I think I talk fancy. I use some $3 words.
So Dan says, "Hey everyone, I've been here just enjoying the conversation and creeping in the background, and I know Dan's getting ready for his show, of course, Monday night at 9. So I don't know who's on with him tonight. Do you, Mayor?
Beard Octane, I believe.
Okay, Beard Octane. So tonight at 9 on
Beard
Command's Corner.
Octane.
Nice. All right.
I don't know if
So
you've heard of
oh, go
those
ahead.
guys. Beard Octane, they're everywhere.
I think I have. I've got 1 or 2 or 12 bottles of
Hmm.
oil over here, something like that.
Right.
Yep. All right,
So
so
good.
going back to content creation, so you
Sure.
and Dan met. He came in as the new fired up teacher. You guys played Pokemon, got to know each other, and now you're creating content with Dan. So we know
Right.
Dan's story of how he got into content creation, and basically, he was basically in a nutshell. Sam said, "Hey, I think you'd be good at it," so that was enough for him. So how did you get involved with the creation process with Dan?
Yeah. Okay. Basically, so at some point, Sam's like, "Hey, we got kids. Find a hobby that's going to keep you here." And I get that. Like totally. My wife was I was just so all in on like playing that Pokemon game and just having fun and doing that it was getting to be a lot. So, anyways, fast forward, um, Dan gets started with this, and I didn't know what to think. I just knew I was kind of sad for that kind of era to end, and I wanted our friendship to continue because I got a lot out of it. He's a guy that has that ripple effect with the people around him, and so that was good. And but I didn't, obviously I'd never had any facial hair. It was right field from wherever I've, anything I knew or experienced. So, I was sad at first. And then I just started kind of, I get all his notifications because I obviously was one of his, I think, first 10 subscribers or so at being a close friend. Because when I say friends, like him and our friend Todd were the first people that I ever had like a chat that just like we've had a conversation for like 5 years, and that was before I had any social media at all. I never had Instagram. I'd never had anything. Um, Up and so basically we had that friendship. We had these guys, and I wanted to keep that. So I was sitting in church one day, and I do some of my best thinking, whether you want to connect that to anything. But I get a clear head. Maybe it's because my kids are in Sunday school a little bit, but
Right.
and I said, I need to throw this at Dan. I've got an idea. I want to get involved. I want to see this guy. Like I think I saw him do a Fable stream once, and I saw the enthusiasm. Like I had no idea what it was. The enthusiasm of people just kind of really into these products, and more so what Dan was doing. And I said, holy cow, there's a magic to this. There's a spark. How do I get involved with my friend who's this great opportunity? I always say this quote that learn to listen carefully. Opportunity often knocks very softly, and I think that was the case. So I'm sitting in church, and I'm like, I'm gonna throw this idea out at Dan. I'm gonna grow a beard. I wrote it up, typed it up, I sent it to him, and to his credit, he like took a shot on it. He was at a point with his channel. I don't think they were at 10,000 subscribers yet, getting close though. Um, and so that's big. That's still huge numbers, like huge. But also, I think for him to have somebody he worked with, like a teacher, like not just respect it, and a friend that Dan, uh, a friend that said, I think you got this. And that's kind of what I was doing by saying I wanted to do this live stream. So I started doing the mate or no, it was just like how to grow a beard, and I was just this guy, and we were talking about what is the itch like, all that, going through the whole process, and really got into the site, the head, the emotional and brain part of what does it mean when you say you're going to grow a beard, and kind of going through all that at 40 was like, it was interesting because people question a lot. What are you trying to change? What are you doing? There's a lot of guys on beard advice that I think what it comes down to is that your wife doesn't like your beard because she thinks you're trying to change who you are, and if you communicate a little bit more, talk a little bit more, she'll get you, you will become this guy with a beard, not that, you're gone. But that's another story. So we started doing that live stream. I just thought it'd be a summer thing. There's no way I would have the guts to walk in with any facial hair back to work, because people would I was kind of a joking guy. I joked a lot. Took my shots when probably, a lot. And I was going to open myself up to that, cause you're changing. But I ended up doing that, and I ended up going back to work. And then we took a little break after that summer. Dan was doing polo, and then we started Majorly Bearded, which was just him and I with Mountain Dew and beef jerky and talking. And it got to be a lot of questions on beard stuff. And I was just kind of getting used to having the energy on camera. I'm shaking my hands. Just kind of hot, going back and watching and being like, ugh. And well, what can I do better? Polishing. Getting our routines in. And then one day, Dan, that was like a good 8 months. And Dan said, I think we need to go with this beard advice, because we had a couple shows then where a couple shows that guys had been firing questions. And then there would be one for me, or, like the short beard guy or the new beard from that perspective. And he said, I think that, this seems like a thing people want. And he was right. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. I will trust his instincts on any of that. He knows, I've learned the market and the community too. They're two different things, but they're also the same in some ways. And I trust his judgment on that. And we've had content. The cool thing about Beard Advice when we talk about content is that it is a self-feeding thing. There's, as long as if we are kindly and honestly giving our best advice, guys come back, and they come back, or new guys come and they're willing to submit. And that's only from the culture that the community has, that Dan's created with his channel. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's really special. And so we started doing Beard Advice, and it's going good.
I can't believe that's been. I said last Wednesday when you guys are on, because I saw the episode number. I think it was a Wednesday before when you guys did the Veterans Day stream, and I saw the episode number, and I was like, wow, it's already been over a year since you guys started this. It seems like it was just yesterday.
To me too. Yeah. That switch to Beard Advice seemed. It just seems like, in a way, it was yesterday, but it was always where we're headed. And I truly believe that we're not there yet. We're not, we're not. Beard Advice Live is awesome, and it may go forever, but I think it's a piece of what we want to do eventually at some point. Huge piece, because gosh, guys, like, we were not raised. It was not okay to talk about a heated brush growing up or whatever. Like, straight up, the world has changed, and it's created this kind of, I think, this opportunity for men's grooming, for beards especially. And gosh, me learning, like, what a great thing it is to get to, like, pick out, okay, and it's the morning. Am I going to go ginger jamboree? Do I need that little carbonation? Do I want to go like sarsaparilla from whiskey? Like, just picking out a scent that you like, it's pretty much for you, is kind of an empowering thing that we don't always have. And I think there's something to that whole, you're not just gonna make what your beard smells like, but you're gonna kind of pick a direction for your day when you pick out what oil you're gonna use.
That's so true. One thing, so since I'm not really doing beard reviews every week like I was on the Bluegrass Bearded channel, and this is my main channel, so one thing that I've loved for the last couple of months is that I can wear whatever I want. I'll stand down here, usually, because everything's down here, everything's downstairs, it's cool down here in the basement, so I keep everything down here for the most part, and I'll stand down here the night before and think about what I want to wear tomorrow and pick it out. And I don't know, I guess people that don't use beard products that much or don't have a beard wouldn't understand it, I guess, but there's a real self-care aspect to that.
When I just like literally within months of understanding that whole, it's like it's a little bit more, it's just an edge. You just give yourself, okay, it was, I'm exhausted, let me give like an invigorating, what's a good wake me up scent, or I got my favorite sweater I'm wearing tomorrow, let me, where's a good swagger, a good cologne, you know. uh I don't think my dad wasn't thinking that stuff. It was, he was throwing some Old Spice on after he shaved and he went to work, and life uh is too short. If you can have like a little bit more fun with life, go for it.
Yep, for sure. And I love some of the comments Dan gets on his videos, and other bearded content creators get on their videos about, from men that don't use beard products. And you've seen the comments, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, every video I do on his channel, I get, there's guys that just don't vibe with me, or just like, I think what it boils down to most time is it's not Dan, and I wanted to see a Dan video. This is Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Where's my Dan? And then all of a sudden I roll up, but I don't care. I get that. It's my job to win them over.
yeah, and it's just part of, so that's another part of creating content. You are going to have naysayers and, whatever word you want to apply to those guys, it's going to happen. You just have to be okay with that. So Justin, great question. Since we're on the topic, what's everybody having beard tonight? If you have a beard. So Mayor, what are you rocking in beard today?
Mine is actually secret. I can't tell. I actually think you know about it, but it's something new that is amazing. That's all I can say.
Okay. I'm also wearing something I can't really say.
Isn't
Yeah.
how cool? How cool is it to get to say that? I don't, that people would have, people would appreciate my like opinion enough to like send me stuff. That's so flattering. That's like an amazing feeling that I think everybody should have at some point. But yeah, super exciting. But I got tons of oils. I could talk up and down, but yeah, right now I'm going with something that's still in development.
Yep. So Justin also asked on the same topic. So we'll do it this way. What are some of your favorite products to use? Oil, balm, or butter, company, and scent?
Oof. Okay. So
Tough question.
yes, Beard Octane was my first Citrafella. Still love that. I love it for a light. I love that it's a light oil. Gives you enough scent without kind of overpowering you. Whiskey and Hardtack, feel my beard just dances with it. It just loves that. I love their wash and their conditioner as well. I love the solid wash bar from there. Sarsaparilla from there is amazing. The new Nighthawk was really good. Whiskey and Hardtack is just, it's just like luxe. Like Westwhy. Westwhy is another one. Westwhy is like even a thicker oil. His scents, I was telling, I think I made a comment during Dan last week. His scents, are somehow almost just a little bit more like just different. There's an added like energy to them. I mean, I could keep going too. The Grower from Fable. Just I hate starting because then I miss out on a bunch.
Yeah.
But there's a ton. Chesapeake's, their Command Wash is probably my favorite wash, and I would maybe go with like that like Whiskey and Hardtack for a conditioner. I think being a short beard guy, oil is like still number one product, but I really pay attention. Like I really use the heck out of washes and conditioners because it's all right here, and I sweat every day, and it's kind of needs washed almost every day. So that's a big part of like the short beard.
I think Gary's trying to get the secret out there, but he knows you're not going to say what the secret
Nope.
is. But yes.
No.
All right, you guys got some good stuff in beard. Okay, so we have some questions stacking up that I'd love to get to before we kind of transition to the next question, if that's all right. All
I
right,
love
so
it.
we'll
I'm
start.
having a great time. This is fun.
I love this stuff. Yeah. So Gary wants to know, Mayor, has getting involved in content creation and growing a beard given you more confidence in life? I think you kind of touched on it, but
Oh, it has, Gary. It has more than just given me. I think when you get, it's like feedback. When you can put yourself out there and people, when you get comfortable being on the camera and people like come to you for advice on things. I had a couple guys at church the other day just kind of sit down with me, and we were just talking. They're, kind of no shave Novembers. What do I do? They were having like curliness, and like that they would sit down and ask me for like advice was super flattering, and that builds confidence. And go back to the first show I did with Dan. I just hadn't gotten to the point where I was just okay with being open, with who I was. It's a hard thing to say. I mean, I don't tell everything about my life, but I'm just willing to just, like you've said before, you have to be real. And people would say that to you all the time. You got to be real, be yourself, be yourself. But when you doubt that people are going to take that and be like, what if myself isn't good enough? That kind of thing.
Right.
And at some point I stopped thinking about that. I just kind of breathed in the Dan C breath and started just having fun. And then I found a way I could contribute a little bit. And then some success. And always when things weren't amazing, it was always put in a positive light. Yeah, definitely build confidence. And that's the beard. I like the way I look, like truly. I like the way I look with the beard. I think it's just a little bit more toughness, a little edge, and no problem with that.
Yeah, same. I doubt that I will ever. I don't think my kids will ever see my face again. I really don't think so.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I never say never, but I don't have any plans for that for sure.
Right. So Mrs. Coach, so she says, Mayor, I love your passion and positivity you bring with Dan on your Wednesday night streams. Do you ever see yourself doing solo content alongside with what you do with Dan?
Absolutely. I think it will be as a part of what he's doing in his channel or wherever he goes with that. But I think I would love that. I'd love that opportunity to, I don't know what it looks like yet. I think, as I really believe in just keep hustling, keep moving in your direction, and opportunities could come up. And you know what? I always thought that was true in my teaching career. I always I just keep doing the right thing. And it never really kind of happened. And then I got involved with Dan, and this has made me a better teacher too. The confidence and then just a little bit of less pressure about what people think of me, because in the end, there's going to be people you realize when you do this stuff, there's going to be all sides of it. You look hard enough, you're going to find somebody who doesn't feel with it. So just don't worry about it too much. Listen to feedback, but don't worry about it.
Yeah. There's people that, like you and Dan and everybody else, there's people that don't like me, and that's okay. I appreciate that also. You have to be able to, one thing that a lot of new content creators are afraid of is criticism and feedback that kind of way. And I guess it's easier said than done for somebody that's never been in that spot, but you do have to just kind of learn to be okay with it and keep doing your thing.
It's not about you. It's not about me. It's
Right.
about their own, like, just frustrations with themselves or something that didn't come through. And I've been there too. I've had my own snarky thoughts, and I don't put them out for public record usually, but I get it. I've been it wasn't that long ago that, I could have lived in that jealousy world, or not even jealousy, but just kind of, yeah, bitterness, I guess. And so I just, you have to shake it off, because it's not really, I don't really think it's about me as much as it is what they're not.
Yeah, I think you're right. Absolutely. Russ says, is it me or do I remember you and Dan on the Monday Night Commands Corner streams? I think you've been on Dan. Have you ever been on a Monday night?
I don't think. No, I've never. Nope. That says he's got a format for that show, and I like to participate in the chat. Actually, jumping in and doing it's kind of like I'm backwards from a lot of people, because I started doing the camera stuff and didn't really know what it was like to be in a chat, so coming in, jumping in, I have a hard time not commenting. Like, I really like to get involved in that. And I think live streaming itself, I didn't really understand what it was. Like, when Dan and I started, I would come in with a set list or some ideas, some talking points, like I was doing a lesson in school, because what else did I know? I didn't have a frame of reference. But the beauty and the power of a live stream is the moment and the direction that things can go, and the cool, amazing connections, and having people from all over the world it's a format that I think is just starting. it's so much more than sitting and watching network television.
Yes. Yes. Let's see. So Ellie says, "Did you think you would reach the level of influence that you've achieved so far?"
No. Did I no, I was okay. Like I wanted to keep working with Dan, but I kind of thought maybe it'd end up behind the scenes or like helping with other stuff. And I was okay with that too. But I I mean I really don't know how much influence I have. I think there are when there's people asking you questions, I guess you have some to a point when they want your opinion on things. But it wasn't a goal of mine to be like ever to be Dan. You know what I mean? I wanted to help the the channel to be as much as it could be, and whatever my role was like that. If I could be a part of this, like what I thought is going to be just something people from the area say, hey, that's where the beard guy's from, or whatever. If I could get involved in that, I was going to be involved in any way I could. And so when we kind of got into that beard advice, that's when I felt like I really kind of like found my like little lock, I think, as far as being able to relate to short beard guys. People look at me and say, okay, well, Dan's got a huge beard. It's amazing. But this guy's, totally different, great beard too. I'm a beard guy because my beard looks more like his, that visual aspect of that. And then just helping from there. And then the guys would, when we did beard advice, they might follow up on Instagram after and be like, hey, what, kind of like the follow-up question. And so that started to be that influence spiral. And I still will often go to Dan for most of my technical questions on all those things. But a lot of what he says, I don't know if it's his voice. It's kind of like yours. You guys got those low voices. I'm a big listener. I a lot of times I don't even do video. I just will like stream audio. And I'm always listening. I'm always like, I've always loved audiobooks. And just lately, I haven't even been using my credits that I pay for because I've been listening to this stuff. And I don't care. I'm picking up, the Chris does like the company to be named later that he had Bobby Casey on, and they were talking about being the what it's like to be a prison guard. And I listened to that like over a couple times. Chris has got a great voice too, but like I just kind of I'm starting to really connect with different aspects of it and super like just enjoy it.
Don't make Chris's head any bigger though, Mayor. Let's be careful.
Well, Chris was the first guy other than Dan that ever I did a live stream in like the shed in our Pennsylvania farm because my dad's from Pennsylvania, and he had me on there one year, and it was my dad really liked watching that, and my dad grew his first beard after I grew mine.
Yeah, and I'm just messing with Chris. The only thing I have against Chris is he likes Twizzlers. I don't understand that.
Yeah, are you red vine or where are you at on this?
I'm neither.
Neither? No kind of licorice?
One. No.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm not gonna look at it much candy and not turn it down. But I would think fresh red vine over Twizzler, but not. I could do either. I just can't eat a lot of Twizzlers. I feel like 3 is about the max in a row.
Chris said the check's in the mail.
You got it. Although I just made a Twizzler comment without like 100% love, so I don't know. We'll see if there's feedback on that.
Right. And I mean, kind of going back to what you're saying about, you and Dan being, different, two different beards, stuff like that. That's kind of what gives you guys a great dynamic for your Wednesday night show because you do have two different beards, right? You're going to have some guys that have your style, guys that have Dan's style. So that's awesome to have both of you on there with different beards. And
we're, that's the other thing is we're two different people. I think I bring in like that softer, I don't know, like I'm a softie, and I'm always thinking about the hurting people's feelings, the emotional side. And Dan is too, like, believe it or not, he's completely, he doesn't miss anything and he doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings if he doesn't have to. But he's really good. His like kind of dialed inness to people and his observation skills. That's what observation skills are probably what makes him, finding this success.
Well, when it comes to Dan, and I consider Dan a good friend too. I chat with Dan a lot. I've asked him as far as, starting this new channel a couple months ago, I've probably asked Dan as much, if not more, than some other guys. Like, hey, what do you think about what I'm doing? This video I just did. What do you think about that video? Because I respect Dan's advice on content creation and the way that he does things. And also, though, because I know that Dan is going to be real with you. He's not going to be a jerk about it. He's not going to, like you said, he's not going to hurt your feelings or be real brash, but he's going to be honest. And
yeah, there's times when I'll get a hard pass, just to, like, throw an idea out. But there's also times when he loves, loves an idea. But I'm not constantly, but I have like cycles, and I'll just start unloading ideas and of things as I learn this community better and what might work. And we look at the Facebook group, and he's kind of like a sounding board. And sometimes it's a banger, and we go, and it happens in a week. Sometimes he says like, I love it, and kind of is like, but here's the ball. You go ahead, you roll with it. And then sometimes he's like, no, because this is what's going to happen, or this is what happened when I tried it before.
So, Nick H., where do you see yourself in 20 to 30 years still doing content? Now, I know Dan has a lot of plans, and I don't know what you can and can't say, but I know a lot of those plans do kind of involve you also. But how would you answer that question?
20 to 30 years. Well, I'll be 62 in 20 years because I'm 42 now. Gosh, that sounds old. Whatever. Who cares? So I see myself retired. I actually bought 5 years of teaching at 40. So at 46, I can retire. And if Dan doesn't need me before then, that'll be the plan, because then I can collect my pension. If he does need me and we can make it work for my family, I'm gone when he need, whenever that is. But I see myself, I don't know, doing something like this. I would love to just, I would just love to see where the adventure takes me, but kind of be all in on this, as long as I can kind of be that father for my parents, for my son, for my kids, and be involved and have a roof over their heads and all those things with that. So if I can, it's a balance of old life, new life, but new life, beard stuff, content, who knows what, is where I would like to be.
I know exactly what you mean. That's what I'm trying to do with this also. Trying to build something. So I know exactly what you mean, because in the meantime, the kids still want to eat. So
yeah, they complain about that. They don't stop about the food and the clothes. I don't know.
Gosh, like, you guys need food. It's Saturday. We don't eat lunch.
Right.
So Mrs. Coach said, as we know, family support is important when creating content, doing streams. And we actually, on this channel, so on Ken the Content Coach, we just did a video last week. So if you haven't seen that yet, Mel did this video with me about family support. So if you haven't seen that yet, go check it out, guys. But she says, what does your family think about how involved you are in the community? Do the kids think it's cool you're on screen?
Okay. Yes, the kids do think it's cool. It's a kind of little being YouTube, not just my own children. Yeah, I think that it was like an unforeseen bonus that my son kind of looks up to me. He wants to. Every kid, YouTube is like where it's at, because it's not that far away from them. So I'm thinking about my students too. It's with you can almost grab it, you can almost taste it, and you can see how you're going to make it yours. So it kind of inspires kids right now. So I love that. Being a teacher, I have my college education, but I tell the kids, it's not always the, I every day I feel less and less about that being, going to college, borrowing all that money and going into debt. I think it's a big, it's not the like way it used to be. I think there's, like my wife works with a career and technical school, and where the money is right now is welding. If you can learn how to weld, those guys are making big money right out. So I forget what was it? Oh, for family involvement. My wife has all, in the beginning it was, there are way worse things that Steve could be doing with his time. And I love that he has some friendships, that kind of, he can go and hang out with his friend and do this. And then then it started to kind of help out our family, a little bit of money here and there, not, a big deal. But the first thing I did, believe it or not, is with any kind of money I benefited, I got us a cleaning lady, because we both work full time. So I took the money and pretty much it just was a wash. But I said, okay, this is gonna help our life out because my wife has to have a certain way when her parents are coming over, and it was always so stressful. It was like a cycle of like, upset. And so if we have somebody regularly helping out, it's good. So that was like, it's called greasing in the wheels. So I greased that wheel a little bit.
Right.
She saw kind of the whole house benefited from that. Although the boys think that, I don't know, they don't think they need to clean up as much as they should. So I got that involved, but she knows, she loves me, and she just, like Gary said earlier, she can see the difference it has had in my life. And she's like, go for it. She, feels like maybe in school, in my job and teaching, that kind of didn't play out like it should have. And she's like all in. She would, I married the right person, because just like you and Mel, um, if I had a passion of a direction or a change or whatever, she would find a way and we would make it happen. And that is, Dan's the same way as Sam. You don't get to that you can only do so much independently, and then you have to have your close, your wife, whatever, um, also supporting that, because that's the person you check in with, that's the person you get real with, because you guys got to pay the bills together, you got to raise the kids together. And
Right.
I'm just super blessed to have that, and I don't forget it. I can get a little mouthy at times, so can she. um, but two full-time working parents, doing this on top. I've always liked being busy, but you do, I think, but this is great because it has that reciprocation of kind of like gratitude. People appreciate it. Dan appreciates. He's great at that. I like sharing that appreciation, and um, that's pretty awesome. I mean, he's 10 years younger than me, and I pretty much worked for him, and I never think of that because I respect him too much. Like, I probably could ask him 4 questions for every one I do, when I get in like my little zones, but I don't want to bug him. And it just works. Sometimes things work, and just like my marriage, it just works. It
Yeah,
is
and
it
you.
is work. It is work. Like, that's the
Oh
one
yeah.
thing I didn't really realize is that it is never settled. If you're settled in, something's wrong. You need to hustle a little bit all the time for your wife. Um, that there's no such thing as like leveling off and being in a spot, because life isn't like that. Especially, we learned all that with the pandemic and all that, and there's just new challenges. And you just have to have grace with each other and listen. And we talk things out.
Yeah, you can't really do this YouTube thing without that spousal support. There's only so far you can go in this without that support, because you're going to be, distracted, not have the time. Whatever. There's a whole list of things I could throw in that list.
Oh
And
yeah, like,
so,
you can't, even if you're in trouble, like if your wife's upstairs and mad that you're doing something, you can't put yourself all into the moment, and then that comes
yeah,
across on camera.
absolutely. And so, yeah, so Dan, we all know how supportive Sam is. You and Betsy, obviously Mel with me, she's so supportive. John here, Coffee Talking Tech, I know his wife is also, and other guys in the chat also. But it's impossible without that.
Yeah, yep. I wouldn't be here without her.
What's up, Dr. Elo? Good to see you, man. All right, let's see. So Gary says, Mayor, as a guy who has had friendships go south, how important or valuable is having a relationship like yours with Dan? And then bonus, what's the hardest part of content creation for you?
Okay, so how important is or valuable is having a relationship like mine with Dan? It is, I think, essential to like being a well-rounded and happy person. I think you in life you strive for balance, and there are some things that I can say to him, and without worrying about it, that I would never say to my wife, because it would be taken one way or the other. And I think you have to have that. So he's at the core of everything. He is a best friend that, um, I'm not afraid. It's like, I'm so lucky. I'm lucky to have that. I'm lucky to have somebody that we have our last 2 years, or even longer than that, has been one long conversation about raising kids, about, how to, what should we do with this situation, COVID, all, the millions of things that came up with that, frustration in teaching. So I don't know how to answer that, because I can't imagine like not having that relationship, I guess. And then hardest part of content creation for me, probably, I wish I could be like Scuba, because Scuba can just like he can just, oh, there's a fire over there. The plane's crashing down. We're just gonna roll with it. And he's the cool, like he is the cool guy, and it comes out on camera. I can't do that. I wish I could, but I am not able to, unfortunately. So making videos, making sure I say what I need to, not too much else, and kind of get concise, but connecting. So on camera stuff is still a big struggle.
Yeah, that's the one thing. If I had to pick one thing that I've worked on through the entire 2 years of creating content, it would be trying to be concise and only putting out the information that needs to be put out, keeping the videos a little bit shorter, because I've been known to have I can talk.
But that's live streams. That's why we love live stream. That is another piece to the why it is its own complete own thing that is just like kind of just starting to be developed, because like kids, my students in school, like 8th graders, 13, 14, they don't really have the free time to do the live streams, but I think that they will really connect well with that when they get a little older. And they do. Like my son will watch, that's wrong, any kind of gaming thing they'll get into, and they just love it, getting there, like getting, that kids were a big part of why I got it. My sons, and they're like how much they loved it when somebody would like mention them, or all of those, just the connection to a channel that they loved or whatever. That power was kind of staggering to me as a guy who had no Facebook, no Instagram, no YouTube. Like I only started watching YouTube because I wanted tips on Pokemon Go, and then I got super into it, and I started like dying to see the next, like have a guy's video come out each day, and like have my guys that I was watching, and and then and then all of a sudden I realized the power of that,
Yeah.
how fun it was.
And Ellie, I don't believe so. So real quick, I don't think this is on the mayor's end. I think this is. I'm gonna open a ticket with Ecamm, because this has happened the last couple of weeks for some reason. I'm not sure why, because I've got a gig fiber. I don't know, but I think this is probably on my side. It's happened the last few weeks. So
yeah, I'll take it though. I'm blurry, but I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm gonna send my last couple of streams to Ecamm and see if they can tell me what's going on, because I don't think this is on your side.
I will say that this is the MacBook Air, and the one thing that it let me, well, it's two things. One, it's very loud when the fan kicks on. It's like super loud. And the second thing is the camera is not what you would. It's a year old from Apple, and it's just when I look at, well, like your picture versus mine right here, I was disappointed, and I have been, but not to the point where I feel like I need to do anything as far as getting a new one. Maybe someday when rich and famous, but I feel like they let me down on that one. The MacBook Air, like the camera itself was kind of surprisingly not great. The phone's great, but on the MacBook it's not.
Yeah. I'm going to let you read this one. This is from your wife.
I love you. However, you get far more mouthy than me. That's true. That's true, because you just your eyes start watering, and then I've lost. Even if I have a good point, I lose. When will I learn it? I've learned it a little bit, but yeah, I think that's fair. I agree.
Yeah, and yeah, Dan, it kind of happened with him also. I'm gonna open a support ticket with Ecamm to see if they can tell me why, because with my setup, it should not be happening. So I don't know why.
I don't know,
but that's okay. We'll get it figured out. Let's see. How does the mayor feel about any opportunities that may have come to him since being with Dan in the community? Does he see anything as life changing?
Yeah. Okay. So opportunity, just the ultimate opportunity is getting involved with Dan's channel, and kind of being able to have any kind of piece of that guy's like hustle. I think I missed a part of our story was when he coached my sons in swimming, and I never saw a guy who could get more out of them. And they would rave about it all the way home, you know. So they had fun doing it, and that's kind of how I feel like about he's kind of coached me through a lot of this, and I'm getting that positive feedback, but I'm also like loving the like I said, the adventure of it. So yeah, that's the ultimate opportunity, is just getting to be involved with that. But do I see anything as life change? Sure, absolutely. You know, every moment of I guess I see myself beyond teaching now, and I never really did be out of the school. You know, I get to walk in. My son's in seventh grade, and I get to walk in with him every day. Me and usually his buddy that we pick up, and then Dan. We all usually get there about the same time, and we walk in the building. And I know in the back of my head that it is not forever for so many reasons, but I would say it's life changing that I have the perspective to know how special those moments are. Um you know, I don't think they're here forever, so I'm trying to enjoy them while they're here. And but when they're gone, it's going to be for a great reason. It's going to be, you know, my son's off to college or whatever. So like, you know, how many guys, raise your hand if it'd be kind of cool to walk into work every day with Dancy bearded and your own son. uh so I mean, that's a blessing. I told Dan and our friend Todd the other day, I said, what a gift in life that you are my friends, you are my dearest friends, my best friends, and yet you also have a piece in my son. You were both their teacher, you know, like,
Yeah.
and like when I say he did this good thing, they have ownership in that too. Like, that's beautiful. That's life, man. That's community. That's like, I can't even, there aren't even words for how kind of cool that is.
Yeah, and John says streaming with your best friend must be so fun. That alone is life changing.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. We have our total routines like almost down to like the minute, like the, you know, he knows exactly how long it takes me to drive, you know. And it's fun. It's cool to be part of a team like that. And it's really how I feel, is that we work together to help out these guys in the show and have a great time, and literally drink Mountain Dew and eat beef jerky, which I love, you know, the whole time. And then also just to see, to learn about the community and how, you know, how can, like, where there are opportunities, all that stuff. I am out of my own head. Like, I was, as a teacher for all those 15, 16 years, I kind of got into that cycle. I think my dad probably did his whole career in that cycle of, you know, that go to work, come home kind of thing. And this, being able to do this has, like I said, just kind of flipped my perspective. I feel like it's not going to be, I know in my heart that my life is going to have like all these different adventures that I didn't even, like, probably 5 years ago wouldn't even have imagined.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so those were some awesome questions people sent in. We have,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you guys don't even know it, but the mayor and I know it. So I send out show notes before every show, and you guys practically ran the show right along the show notes that I
Yeah.
had. So that was awesome. All right, one more question we have here. This may be a little bit easier. I don't know. What is your most memorable stream and why?
I was actually trying to find it the other day. For me, there's been some big moments, but the most interesting one is I've actually started going back to the beginning. We did like a coronavirus stream when all of a sudden the world shut down, and we were talking about what was gonna happen. And Dan was like, "Well, you know, we were talking about, is this gonna be as big as 9/11?" And that perspective, and kind of going back and looking at, you know, Dan did some mask videos before it was even a controversy about, you know, that whole thing. Um, it's like getting to, and because I was on the lives and kind of interacting, it's like really a trip back to that mindset back then. And oh my gosh, it's changed. It's shocking to think about all the ways the world, not just me, but me too. Like, I've also changed, but the world has changed. So I like going back and looking at those. And then I don't know. The last one of our summer series, when I decided I was kind of keep the beard, go for school, and all that stuff. You know, go show up to work and take the comments. That was a big moment too. that stream. But there's been tons. Some of the guys that we've helped, some of the guys that come back the next week and are on Beard Advice, and they are like a different person, and you can just see it in their eye. Like, yeah, like I'm on a new level. That moment doesn't happen a ton, but when it does, that's such a great feeling.
I've seen some of the pictures where they send in the follow-up pictures like the next week, and it's like, or maybe 2 weeks later, but it's like a world of difference. They take the advice you guys give them on the Wednesday night streams, and they send follow-up pictures, and it's like a different beard. It's amazing.
A different person, because you can, for a guy to put himself up for those questions, you got to be at a point. Even the most minimal stuff. It's truly not about. A lot of times it's about direction more than anything. Like, what do I do? What's next? Do I look okay? Give me some, am I kidding myself, or where I go from here based on your experience? And to think that can change how high someone holds their head when they walk into work. That's pretty awesome, because, we were raised where guys, you kind of like, all this, when you got to a certain age, you're the grinder. You go to work, you come home, pay the bills, keep your head low. It's not really about, your own, who you are as a person, but you're allowed to change your whole life. You're allowed to be 40 and decide to grow a beard and take a new direction. And in fact, you should, if life is kind of feeling unfulfilling, there's something that there's out there. So learn to watch the world and look for those chances.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think the last 2 years have also taught a lot of people that there's this whole thing on TikTok, and I don't know if it's just TikTok, but that's where I saw it as, called the Great Resignation. And even talking about workplace and how people view the workplace and the way that we work, right? I mean, people are resigning from jobs because they found their side hustle or they've done whatever. I think the world is changing in a lot of ways in that way too.
Yeah, and it's okay. We all had some time to think about that, and I like that. I'm a little frustrated with school because it feels like we're going back. There were so many positives that we learned from a little space and a little breathing room from our old routine, but it feels like we're just kind of just going back to what the school is going back to what it knows. And I don't know. I get it. I wasn't big on Fridays. Like, let's go 4 days a week, save the busing, save the building, heating, all that stuff. And I could stay home, but we're back obviously on Fridays. And then bigger things than that too. That's a silly example, but
right. Yeah. Jason says, definitely changing me, talking about Beard Advice Live. I'll be resubmitting in April my year. All right, man. Very nice.
He's one that's been. He's like a product. He's a great, perfect. Couldn't be better that Jason's in here, kind of sharing that.
So let's talk real quick about the Facebook group, because I mentioned a second ago that most of the questions that I sent you and said, here's kind of a what we're going to talk about, they've all been asked. You guys have been awesome with questions. But one thing I definitely want to talk about was the Facebook group. Now, Facebook for me is not something I spend a lot of time on. I've got my Facebook page and my Facebook group that I just started for this channel. My wife will tag me and stuff, family on Facebook. But one of the only other reasons I'm on Facebook is because of Command's Corner, because of Dan's and your Facebook group. So your all's Facebook group to me is, what's the word I'm looking for? The way that you guys have been able to build that into such a successful group. What do you guys think did that for you? What was your secret there?
I think it started out because, Dan had a real clear vision of how it would work with products and where the lines needed to be drawn and established. I knew going into it that I was going to be, asking people to leave sometimes because they weren't right for the group, or just not asking them, but they're removing them.
And I've seen it happen.
Because of the culture of Facebook and, we always just say this. We say it's just not the right place for them, or they're somewhere else. But it is how it basically, I think Dan's kind of we set it up like he sets up his classroom every year. He puts a lot of work on the front end to build the culture of the classroom. And so we kind of looked at it through a teacher lens of what how do we, how do we want people to have, make this place special. And he so we kind of had these guidelines, these ideas, and just to see if it would go. And it's funny because I never really I had never had any Facebook account. I had to open my Facebook account for this group, and that is where I exist on Facebook, is that primarily that group.
Right.
I go to the group and then I leave, more or less. But as a content creator, anything like the Beard Advice, but also this Facebook group has opened our, like, you get so, if you're ever like struggling for ideas, you're not looking hard enough. Like, so I think it's, a great content device, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like my group of friends. So what we always wanted, like, oh, something great happened, I want to share it here, I'm going to post it. And I kind of have being the, admin with it, maybe I have a little bit more like willingness to just put whatever out there. But it's like, I feel like nice guys have beards too. Like, most of us are really good guys. And, I'm waiting for the day. I feel like it's really special, especially on Facebook, as far as the culture that's kind of out there. We, had, like I said, we had to draw some lines, but it's really developed into this place you go when you have a moment, you want to break at work, or you're sitting in line somewhere. Check in with your beard buddies, ask them a question. It's incredible, and guys will come and go, and then they'll come back, just because of how their lives change. It's kind of like why one of the reasons that I'm big on, I believe in, like, I love going to church, is because gosh, the Sonny in the group, he's,
Yeah.
from Hungary. He's an immigrant. He has an immigrant's perspective on everything that we're going through. And there's been like 2 or 3 times where Sonny's humility and Sonny's gratefulness towards our country has snapped me out of some kind of bad mindset, just to kind of look at all the good things. And because he loves being here, he appreciates. And then I got to meet him a couple of weeks ago. Like, that's a real friendship, and he, is exactly who he is on the group. Like I said, this whole thing has been such an adventure that it's unbelievable. It's just it's positive, and it's because I guess the group is so, like, kind of unique because of just being willing to not have it, understand that it's not for everybody.
Yeah, and talking about Sonny, I mean, so Sonny, he's awesome. I love Sonny. He's so funny. But he's an example. I mean, that group has kind of taken a life of its own also, right? Because you have you have the monochrome Monday. So like there's all these theme days, right? I don't know if I've seen Video Tuesday. Is that still a thing?
It occasionally, I think I dropped an extreme Video Tuesday when the bats were flying at my house, and everybody's like, I can't do it. I can't top that. The mayor's too tough. Like, I mean, he's got bats flying around. He's still recording for the group. So no, it kind of ebbs and flows. When people can get outside, you have more, but also the nature of Facebook is a lot more still picture. It's your guys like to read a little bit more, not a ton, but there's a little bit more wordy and things like that. People can make a post that's all just words, no photos, and still have it go. And that's a special part of Facebook for the guys that are more verbal.
Yeah. Sonny's videos were hilarious. I mean, he got his whole family involved. He would dress up, do all kinds of stuff. Um, and there were, there's other, I mean, I can name a bunch of guys right now that just make that group awesome, but, they've
It's nice
made
to
the group
see,
what
and
it is with you guys.
you can tell, everybody has a real sensor for authenticity, and people are, you can tell Sonny's family, their dad cracks them up, and they, like, maybe they're annoyed sometimes, but they still play ball because they love their dad. And that you actually don't see that a lot anymore in the world. Like, not for free, not without it being on a movie or something like that. That's, the realness of his relationship, and so many of the guys, it's kind of a really cool way to, and through the pandemic, it's been a great way to stay in touch, to have a place, you don't have your guys at the coffee shop in the morning, but you can check the group or whatever.
Yep. Dan says the question of the day is so important in our group without people even realizing how important it is. It comes from our teaching background to understand the value. And he says that you make the questions.
Yep. Yeah. I used to stress about them a lot, and now it's fun. Now, there's times when I usually like to be ahead of the game a little bit, but I love that kind of questioning is a great way to teach. And when you can get in the mindset of the group, and in the beginning, you couldn't ask like certain questions because you would get like fart jokes, like the kid in the back of the room going, like
Right.
that, but in Facebook style, which whatever that is. But we have kind of worked with our moderators have been so good at like kind of enforcing things and all that we have now able to kind of get a better grasp of who the group is. And now, like, we did Sunday, we did what's in beard, and with we'd always been very like careful about that because we just didn't want to turn into advertising for everybody in the world and kind of take over the stream. And it went well, and it wouldn't have gone well even a year ago. But that's again that whole process.
Yeah. I'm starting to get more active in the group. There for a while I was not very active in the group, and it was mainly because I was doing a beard channel too, and people would kind of know who I was, and when I would go into the group they'd be like, hey, it's whatever. People had made some comments before, and it made me uncomfortable, not because I didn't appreciate it, but because it's not my group, so I never
wanted
to
take away from it.
Yeah, so for the longest time I just kind of stopped posting and being a part of it, but now that I'm doing this I feel like I can again.
And that's another, with the way it's kind of developed on its own, that is awesome. Go ahead and go away for a while, but come back to the corner when you want to. You know what I mean? Come back in, see what's happening. Maybe you'll see something that'll pull, kind of reconnect you with that. Guys coming, it hasn't been that long, but we've seen them come, seen them go, and then come back. That's kind of the cool, like, it's kind of beyond describing the feel of it. And I'm really proud of it. And also like super, excited to see, because I think it's just getting started. I think it's beyond beards even. It's guys being able to be themselves, not having to put on a show, not be, just being real with who they are. I think guys in general, we kind of have not been able to communicate real well. My dad wasn't. Our fathers growing up is very, very man. You can't be masculine and like share how you feel about something. But I don't think that rule applies anymore. And I think that group is an example of that.
Yep, absolutely. And what's up, everybody that's come in the last little bit? Brandon, Noah, welcome in. Samantha, hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for stopping by. All right, so we are at 8:25 already. This has been a great chat. We have to get to the speed round, though. I've got some questions lined up for you. I got a new way we're doing this, so we're going to see how this works out. But let's do this, guys. So we're going to do a speed round, and basically these are just kind of pretty simple questions to answer, short kind of questions, short answer. In the chat, feel free to answer these also. Mayor, I'll ask you these questions, and if you're ready, we'll go ahead.
Let's do it.
All right, so we will start here. Now, this is possible. Actually, last week I bought something called Pod Decks, basically a little deck of cards. I didn't even bring them down here, but they have an app, so you can register your cards on the app. And so I've got my phone connected in, and let's go.
All right.
So first question, what is one thing you wish you had the money to pay someone to do for you?
Man, there's so many things like this right now, but I'm gonna say yard work, because I can do it, but I'm not good at it. Like, there's a pro job and then there's my job, or there's a pro job and there's like, so I feel like if I could, pay somebody to do that, that could take a little bit more. Just whenever I pull home, I always look at the thing that I didn't do, like the tree, the branch I missed or whatever. So when you're paying somebody, you just call them up and tell them.
Yard work is mine too. Every year I'm tempted to pay somebody to mow the grass, just for the time aspect of it,
Yeah, I just can't get it right.
Excuse me. And if anybody in the chat wants to answer, go for it. I will come back through your answers. Mel says clean the house, cook would be secondary.
Mel's gonna be, yeah. She's like, what about what about the mayor? You got his what? I don't know. I'm not trying to start anything.
All right. So next up, if you were going on a road trip, what are the 3 must-haves you could not leave without?
I would say like meat, beef jerky, Mountain Dew, and Spotify.
There you go. Yeah. I would say I mean, the obvious answers are beard oil and a comb, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's
But if we
good.
only
I was just thinking of the trip. I guess I was thinking about in the car. I don't know, man. I guess that's I guess how I took it. So
yeah, definitely music, yeah. So for me it's YouTube music is kind of my we're a YouTube house. YouTube music, YouTube TV, obviously on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube music is kind of our choice. So let's see.
so I would say something. There's a device in our house on YouTube at all times, like until bedtime for sure. The boys
Same.
boys are multitaskers like me. They're watching something, playing a game, talking to their friend on the literally all those things at once.
So Gary says family, coffee, and music. Samantha says phone, money, and gummy bears. Nice. And John, of course, Coffee Talking Tech needs a coffee and his phone.
I didn't think a phone is something I could actually be without. I didn't even consider that. Like, yeah, it's pretty essential. Like, with what
Yeah.
I do with the Facebook group, like I'm on my phone a lot.
Yeah. Yep. Mel says me, the kids, and electronics. Sounds good to me.
Right, like battery packs for their devices when none of them ever have anything charged. So that's kind of my thing.
Chargers. All right. Which activities make you lose track of time?
Live streams for sure. When I have a really good lesson in class and the kids are like vibing with it and you're in that like zone, that makes me lose track of time. And I don't know, like when I'm really into like making a little video or creating content, doing something that I just want to get it just right, and it's just like you obsess about the details. I can spend hours on that, and going in that direction, and then like wake up the next morning and be like, that was stupid, like, But there are times when I get sucked into that, or if I get a crazy idea for the beer group, like, just trying to get my thoughts organized, I can go for quite a while. And sometimes Rocket League, although I haven't played it in a while, but video games they'll eat my time, eat it up, and I'll be like grinding and be like, oh, I just get like, I can't. Why am I so bad at this? And really, it's just because that's just where I'm at. And I need to walk away sometimes.
So Samantha says designing in Canva. I'm with you on that one. Trying to put together graphics can eat some time for sure. Pete John, studio live today. Hey, folks, first time catching you live. Hey, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Hope you're doing well also. I'm going to say for me on this question is going to be TikTok. If I'm not careful, I will sit and scroll through TikTok.
They know what they're doing. Like, you have to admire how their algorithm is so good at knowing you, literally better than yourself. Oh, let's throw him one of these. He didn't like that one. Oh, he only looked at it for 12 seconds or 10 seconds or 0.2 seconds this time. So we're going to swipe that. We'll put it back. I mean, it's kind of magical and scary all at the same time. So that's,
yes.
Instagram is the same. That'll happen to me too.
So we got video games. Yeah, for sure. Electronics, music, coffee. John says playing basketball. TikTok is dangerous. For time-wise, it sure can be. There's a reason why I'm trying to learn so much about TikTok, though, and why I have. I'm actually I'm the new TikTok manager for Skull Shaver. So they want me
Oh,
to be able to get them some engagement. So I'm trying to make sure that I do that.
right. That's first of all, that's awesome. Congratulations on that little
Yeah,
like
thank you.
that's where these things take you. And then yeah, how do you start to see openings and opportunities? You have to immerse yourself. So if Mel tells you not to watch TikTok so much, you say I'm just trying to get do the best job I can. My best.
Yep.
I'm doing my best.
I mean, and TikTok trends come and go like that. So I got to be
Sure.
over further like that. So if you're not watching, I mean, they're there and gone. So I don't know. I try not to
Well,
spend too much time though.
there's big trends and then there's little trends and big trends. There's songs but then there's also like the whole idea of shared experiences. If you can create a video that puts somebody who said had that same thing happen, that's a big idea, and that's always going to be there. If you can find that video that hits just right, where oh, I can relate to that, or I've been there.
Right.
That's power.
Yes. All right. So next, what three things would you leave in a time capsule for people to open in 50 years?
Oof. Um, I would leave. I have some. I bought some Swarovski. You know how they have animal ornaments, annual ornaments, not animal, but every year they have like a. Well, I've been buying those for my wife since we got married, and they're not cheap, and I'm kind of regretting ever starting, but I didn't know that back then. But you ever had one break? Trying to replace one is horrible. So one year on Amazon, they had like real. I bought like a bunch of the like 2013 ornaments and so I put them away. I do this sometimes. I also have some 2020 Olympic hats. I put those in there too, and then I don't know, maybe just some. I don't know, maybe a good beard oil or something like that, uh, just to see what it looks like in 50 years. And
Right.
but the ornaments I bought because I think I'm gonna sell them like 20 years, just so I just keep them on my shelf because somebody's gonna be looking for that 2013 Swarovski ornament someday, and they're gonna pay up because the mayor's gonna sell it to them because I'll have it. Um, I've always been like I've always loved the little hustle of being willing to sit on something for a while and then bring it back.
Yeah. My kids are, so I'm not really into Pokemon like you guys, but my kids are. And they have, like, they will sit for hours and look at their cards and see what they're worth. And
Oh,
um, so I'm thinking of things to put, would you put Pokemon cards in a time capsule? I'd probably not, but that would be cool. In 50
I haven't played.
years, go ahead.
I was gonna say I haven't played. That's the thing is I haven't played Pokemon in a whole year. That all of this stuff has taken over from that energy, and it kind of fulfills it in a better way because it also has some upside to it. Um, but I never knew Pokemon at all. Dan's younger than me. He grew up with it. I did not. I knew it from. I loved the Pokemon Go idea of going out in the world and having the little creatures, but I haven't played in a year. My friend kind of. I feel bad sometimes, but there's just not the time for that, and being a dad and all the other things.
Yeah. I don't know what I would put in a time capsule. Um, I really don't. I mean, what is something in 50 years that people are going to, if they open that time capsule, think about us just 25 years ago. Like, we didn't have cell phones, right? So, what are cell phones going to look like 50 years from now? Like, if we put an iPhone in there, would they open that up and be like, what is this thing? You know?
hmm
Um,
It depends on what you're going for. Some
yeah.
kind of like teachable moment or just yeah. That's a toughie. That's a tough question.
That one is, so Mel said dog tags from the military, family pictures, and my coin collection. She has a huge coin collection with different money from different countries.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm not organized like that. I don't have anything that I've kind of been doing for that long. That's perfect.
Yeah. Bobby Casey says, Mayor, I found a collection of the 1997 Olympics in Atlanta. Found them going through my mom's things after she passed.
Yeah. I just thought with everything that happened in 2020, the Olympic hats might be something. So I'm going to put those away for 10, 15, 20 years and see. But you know what? I don't even need them to play out anymore because I have other great things going on in my life too.
Yep. John says, what about music from this year? That'd be a funny idea. Like, you put the music we're talking about TikTok, put the music that's trending on TikTok right now, And then,
Yeah.
somebody who opens that capsule up, they're like a grandmother now and they remember all the TikTok music. They start dancing. That could be a thing.
Well, on the Voyager, the Voyager that they launched into space, they have albums with like, and what do they have? They have like every language, people saying hello, and then they have music. And I think that is, as humans, if we were to like want to be remembered, that's probably the best thing we've done is our ability to communicate with words and song and all that. So yeah, like I think that's a baller move. They put the albums with I don't even know, like all types of music on there. I
Right.
love that idea.
All right. Let's do one more. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Good to see you, Dole Whip Dad. All right. Let's do one more and then we will start to wrap up the show here. What is a main quality that you think makes a great parent?
Oof, as a teacher. All right, let me think about this for a second.
And guys
I
in the chat,
guess I
same with
would
you guys. If you guys, what main quality you think makes a great parent? Probably get a lot of different answers on this one.
think selflessness. Um, at the very bottom of it, you have to be willing to put your life behind their life before yours, and it all kind of go. That goes into all sorts of things, but being willing to understand that if you were ever to need to, you would give up your life for their opportunity at a, you know what I mean, like that kind of, you are my artwork kind of like look at kids, like you're the best thing I'm ever going to do, so let's get it right.
Yep. Jeff says sense of humor. Yeah.
That's good. That's
So
big.
Dole Whip Dad, Jeff is he's a Disney guy. He loves Disney. They go to Disney a lot. So I think with him, the sense of humor probably going along too with the being able to be kind of a child with them, kind of that young at heart kind of thing.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say realizing that your kids are little humans.
uh,
Sometimes it's easy to assume that your kids know what they should be doing or that they should understand the emotions they have or whatever. And I've had to remind myself of this, that my kids are little humans. They haven't built up the emotional intelligence that adults have, and even some adults have not. But they're little humans just like we are. They're going to have bad days. They're going to make bad decisions, and there's a right and kind of a wrong way to handle that.
yeah, that's a great one. These are all good. Dan said adaptive. Yep. The day you think you know what's going to happen is the day you get burned as a parent.
Yeah. Noah says encouraging your kids' dreams and not trying to live yours through them. Yeah, I always thought my boys would play baseball, and they can't stand baseball.
Soccer, same.
Servant leadership. Yep. Putting self in kids' shoes. These are some great answers.
Servant leadership. That's a big. That's beautiful in a way. It's kind of like the same thing I said in a way.
Yeah, yeah. Setting the example that happiness and community comes before wealth and status. 100%. Yes. Mel says parent first, friend second. Also, my nurturing. What? Yeah, she's in our house. She's the nurturer for sure. I'm the lesson guy. I think there's a lesson in everything, and she's much more nurturing than I am.
Yeah, dad's usually. I know I'm either way too fun or way not fun, and mom is everywhere in the middle.
Yeah, I think I'm probably about the same, one end or the other. Yeah.
Patience for sure.
So I'm just going. Little humans is gold. Yeah, we call them little people with squishy brains. Yep. And that's for me too. That's me telling myself that I have not always been the best. The last couple of years, I think I've matured and gotten to that place. But I used to have to tell myself all the time they're little humans. They don't know, what you think they know.
Right. You jump 3 steps ahead, and then it's like teacher too, like has taught me this, but I jump 3 steps to frustration because of all the things that they don't have those, they haven't experienced those steps, and it's not fair for me to get, frustrated with in it, so do I say this, but I'm probably, I have my moments, like I'm not perfect. I realize that. But kind of just walking in their shoes a little bit, once in a while doesn't hurt.
Yeah. All right, Mayor. Well, the last question I got for you. All right. What advice would you have for someone who wants to create content but doesn't know where to start, is not sure how to get into it? What advice would you have for a new content creator?
I think that you need to connect with someone, and I think that like guys like you, like Dan, you need to find a pathway in, because there are going to be, if you try to walk in alone, I think it's a really rough path. You can do it, like a few of you amazing guys have, but the likelihood of success and getting there and actually being a content creator and getting to share what you want, your message or whatever, with the world, I think it starts by humility and being willing to ask questions and live, kind of play off of those who know what they're talking about. Listen, make sure you're listening 10 times as much as you are asking questions. And maybe that means that maybe you can do a service for one of the somebody you admire or respect. Maybe there's something you can make there. Like, first you got to go out with, here's what I have to offer you, and then along the way you're going to get there. But without like me having like Dan to talk to about the ups and downs and all those things, and kind of reframe how I was looking at things, I don't think there would be even any chance I'd be doing this.
Well, I think you've done a great job from when you started. When I came along, you had already started, but I think the first that I saw you was when everything kind of first happened, and you guys were doing those morning streams. You did them a couple times, and then I started watching Majorly Bearded. I think it was back in it was late 2019 when I subscribed to Dan's channel. Either that or I want to say it was like September of 2019 or something like that.
It's crazy because to me, you've always been a fixture. So, but I slowly got into it. I didn't have, I guess that's another good tip, is not to chase after the world all at once, but to be willing to go slow and to get things right, and not push it, not go all in without the experience that you need first.
Well, like I said, you've done a great job of it, and that's why I wanted to have you on the show and talk to you, because I think other creators, there's something they can learn from you as far as finding how to get involved and then creating content. I've loved watching you and Dan, watching you work with Dan. You guys create content together, even some of the stuff you've done in the Facebook group yourself, and I respect you and I appreciate your content. So thanks for coming and hanging out tonight.
Well, I just want to say how much I am admire your willingness. You've taken you're in, and you were kind of killing, you were solidly a beard guy, and to jump to the content, the only way that happens is if you're like called to it. And I can tell that you are, and I admire that too, because I don't think you have to give up the friendships, the guys you want to, just to grow your next dream.
Right.
And having the guts to do that, and having the support to make that happen, and knowing that it's not going to be overnight, is what it's all about. And I admire that. And so, back at you.
I appreciate it. So, all right, let everybody know. I've got a few things on the slide here, but let everybody know where they can find you, the Facebook group, your IG. Where can everybody find you at, Mayor?
Yep. At Mayor's Beard Journey on Instagram is my biggest thing. I don't know why. I seem to be more of my day-to-day. Instagram is my like guilty pleasure. Facebook, Steve Wamba is my name, and I am an admin in Command Corner. And YouTube, I'm on Dan's channel. I do a video here and there, and every Wednesday we do Beard Advice Live. Jump into that live stream. It's a play, I would say, just like the Facebook group. You might just be really surprised at what kind of a positive, supportive feel is places out there still in the world.
Yeah, definitely. Command's Corner is one of those. So if you have a beard, I mean, even correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, but even if you don't have a beard, as long as you can follow the rules, go hang out, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, I had a buddy from church. He had the biggest beard at church. Like, man, we're talking huge. I had a Aberlite Pro. I was gonna hook him up because and he ended up having to lose it all because he got he's a first responder now at his work, and the mask has to fit. And I'm like, dude, that happens. You're still a beard guy. You always will be. It's just
Right.
not where you're at right now. And I would only have been able to say that just the right thing, because I knew he felt like awful, like weird about it. He said, am I going to be left in the group or whatever? I'm like, of course, it happens. Life happens. And gosh, we need first responders. And when your beard comes back, your beard comes back.
Yep, for sure. All right, guys, as far as me, you're at the YouTube channel, so you know where to find me here. Website, KenTheContentCoach.com. Email Ken at KenTheContentCoach.com. All social medias, all that good stuff. It's all there from the website. And in the description of this video, we do have my links and then links where you can find the mayor, Dan C's channel, the Facebook group, all that good stuff. So if you want to get there, you can find that in the description of this video. Again, Mayor, thanks for hanging out tonight. I was glad to have you on.
Oh, I could go a couple more hours, but I think we got other stuff going on. But thank you so much. I really just feel like honored to be here.
Appreciate that. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys for hanging out tonight. If you were new tonight, special thank you to you guys. Thanks so much for being here. Everybody else that supports every week, you guys know I love you. I appreciate you guys. So we will see you next week for another Just Stream With Me channel review Q&A stream. So looking forward to that. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much like I'm probably going to.
That's what we get to do.
Yes, sir. All right, remember, just hit record. We'll see you guys next time.